Wilson. And as we take a look at what's going on around the country, well, here you can see the scene here as we check on that water vapor for you. There you can see the energy coming right on up here into Kentucky and Tennessee and Arkansas. And that's the last thing we want to see is more heavy rain making a rapid return in through here. Dew point showing you the moisture is on the rise here. Remember yesterday? Well, we saw the 60-degree dew points way down here in the Gulf Coast, but now that's starting to shoot right up again. Look at this, the dew point, 61 in Little Rock, and it's getting up there to about 60 in Memphis. Now, as we check on the lightning data for you, oh, baby, look at these thunderstorms right here, coming up through Arkansas and West Tennessee. These thunderstorms capable of torrential rain. It's very strong and gusty winds, and we here at the Weather Channel have outlooked this red area for the potential for severe storms right through the midnight hour from Texas on across Tennessee and into the western Carolinas. Showers and thunderstorms will be on the move. They'll be rolling right along here. So even though we are looking at some torrential downpours and intense thunderstorms, unlike the last system, we do anticipate to move right along. But before everything starts moving along, unfortunately, it looks like a line of storms is setting up shop right in through here. So in the near term, looks like we could get inundated with some very heavy rains. Here's a look at the map, and we are showing you a front stretched all the way from Texas into Ohio and along, and immediately behind it, we are looking at some rain and some thunderstorms. Here's a look at the regional satellite radar composite, and there you can see your precipitation is zipping its way right on up into western New York already. Well, up to the north and north. Maine's cold enough for some snow. Yeah, it's still winter. And we find 17 in Caribou and 28 at Bangor. But as we head our way down the coast, well, you can see temperatures are a bit milder. Over the southeastern United States, past couple of days don't get any better than what they've been, right? Well, look at this. That's changing right now. And you can see some very intense thunderstorms right here moving through Tennessee. Those are looking nasty. And these thunderstorms certainly capable of some high winds and very heavy rain. So look out, Nashville. These thunderstorms cruising on in. Yellow. What's that mean? That means fog. Visibilities have been reduced across the southeast this morning with the light winds and the cooling at night, and the air getting to the saturation point. And off to the west, we do see the showers sweeping by Dallas, where it's 53 degrees right now, getting into that cooler air. But there you can see that warm air and also the humid air making a rapid return. Birmingham, 65, 69 New Orleans, 70 Houston. So you can see how this warm, moist air is shooting up from the southwest. As we take you to the northern plains, well, we see the edge of the precipitation squirting on by here, Chicago, and up towards southeast lower Michigan. At the present time, though, we are looking at mainly rain, a little bit of snow at the edge of the precipitation shield, and we think there could be some minor accumulations up here today. And as we check on the temperatures for you, well, you can see it's really not bad in Indianapolis or Cleveland this morning. It's around 40 degrees. But as we head our way west, we get down to freezing at Chicago and Grand Rapids. Then we get into the Arctic air. Yes, a little bit of that too. And we're down to 17 below at Fargo and 19 below at International Falls this morning. That fresh pack of snow on the ground. Let's see if this Arctic air is going to be moving south, or will it move out? Here's your forecast. Here's Cheryl.
Well, for those of you in Kentucky and Ohio, you've recently had to endure some of the worst flooding in over 3 decades. Now, yesterday there was a brief reprieve in the weather, some relatively dry conditions on Tuesday, but here we go again, another round of rain coming in today. We have a strong low-pressure system that's over the western sections of Tennessee this morning. It will quickly accelerate off to the northeast later this afternoon, dragging a fairly strong cold front along with it. And this frontal boundary will serve as the focus mechanism for more showers and more thunderstorms. So unfortunately, another quick hit of some very heavy rains today. Then after that, the weather will once again be calming down. Well, this low, as it continues to charge over through the Ohio Valley, will eventually work its way off the eastern seaboard by later tonight and tomorrow. And the low will start to re-intensify, and it will be dragging in quite a bit of moisture from off the Gulf, or not the Gulf, but the Atlantic. We'll be seeing more snows developing too, and some of that snow could be rather heavy across northern New England. And already winter storm watches have been hoisted today for northern sections of New York State and on across Vermont. Some of the higher elevations easily picking up 6 inches worth of snow, but we think that before the storm system finally has a chance to wind down, total accumulations could be looking at close to a foot. So definitely winter making a comeback across New England for today. Here again, our low coming on in. Very heavy rains, unfortunately, soaking most of Ohio today. Very heavy rains, too, West Virginia, Kentucky, and Tennessee. It may not be uncommon to see another, maybe 2 or 3 inches of rain on top of the flood-ravaged areas this past weekend. So, again, not looking very nice for the Ohio Valley. Lighter rains, though, coming in towards Pittsburgh and New York City today. And for those of you around Albany and likewise around Boston, you're going to be kind of on the fence. Very close to that critical temperature of 32 degrees. So there could be some cold rain and or snow breaking out today. More significant snows, though, across upstate New York, around the St. Lawrence Valley, and across the White and the Green Mountains, where there could be 3 to 6 inches worth of snowfall by tonight. Again, temperatures very chilly throughout the Northeast, 20s and 30s, Caribou, Holton, Maine, down through down east Maine, chilly to Burlington and Montpelier, Vermont. Meanwhile, we'll squeeze out some 40s around Beantown and Providence and Hartford, 40s too for the lower Hudson Valley. And the 40s will soon give way to 50s and 60s as we head down towards Bethesda, Maryland and Washington, D.C. How about the southeast? Well, here we go again, more rain too coming in towards Atlanta. We'll have some heavier rains for Nashville, Chattanooga. Heavier rains, too, for the northern fringes of the Atlanta metro area. Up around Cobb County and Cherokee County, some significant rain, but at least temperatures nice and mild across the south. Speaking of temperatures, highs yesterday across Florida averaging some 10 to 15 degrees warmer than usual. Will be a warm one today. Stay tuned. The forecast is next.
As long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Nothing melts away the cold like a delicious heart bowl of Campbell's soup.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Campbell's makes everything.
Stay ahead of winter weather. Watch the Winter Weather Update at 50 past the hour on the Weather Channel. Our team of experts continuously monitor winter's fast-moving weather systems and bring you an up-to-the-minute forecast every hour. One complete report that lets you know when and where temperatures will plunge, where snowstorms are developing, how much snow they'll bring, and where travel may be dangerous. The Winter Weather Update at 50 past the hour, only on the Weather Channel, sponsored by Presto.
Hey, secret agent guy, it's Rob. You spies sure have some cool toys.
How did you...
But check out the Motorola StarTAC Sailor phone, the smallest, lightest sailor phone in the world.
Remarkable.
Don't touch that. Relax. liable to call my mom. That's the smart button for easy one-handed use. Neat? Very neat.
So high-tech, it could only come from Motorola. Motorola, what you never thought possible.
Stay ahead of winter with one complete forecast. The Winter Weather Update at 50 past the hour only on the Weather Channel.
Well, yesterday, all the beaches across Florida were hustling and bustling with activity as we've been enjoying some very warm temperatures. Normal highs for this time of the year, only in the 70s. But instead, we had highs well into the 80s yesterday, even pushing close to 90 in some instances. So very, very warm indeed. And very quiet, too, all across the Florida Panhandle and down through the Florida Peninsula. Right now, we see a few high-level wispy clouds, basically comprised of ice crystals. These are cirrus clouds. They may dim the sunshine just a little bit, but overall very, very quiet across the state. Now, we do, though, see some thunderstorms blowing up across Arkansas and Tennessee this morning. And in time, that storm system will start to ease a little bit closer. Maybe by late in the day, a chance for a few stray showers around Escambia County there in the extreme western Florida Panhandle. But other than that, it's going to be really beautiful today across Florida. So get out and enjoy a nice day for some boating, fishing, golf, or some tennis. How long will the nice weather last across the southeast? We'll stick around. We've got the forecast and more coming up.
Freedom of choice, the foundation of the American marketplace. When searching for insurance to protect yourself, your family, your property, or your business, an independent insurance agent can offer you a lot more choices. Independent agents are free to help you shop around. They're experienced in navigating the marketplace to find the best coverage for the right price. Look for the big I and call today.
Independent agents representing consumers for over a century. Visit your local independent agent today.
Before you choose it, you want to see how well it handles. On the curbs, on the straightaways. That's why people choose Pilot pens, because of how terrific they handle. Like this Pilot V-Ball. It's designed for top performance. The V-Ball has a visible ink supply and a liquid feed system that delivers smooth, skip-free writing every time. Looking for great performance? Take a Pilot V-Ball for a test write. Winter, numbing cold, crippling ice storms, devastating floods, paralyzing blizzards. This winter, know what may lie ahead. Watch the Weather Channel. Over 60 meteorologists continuously monitor and track winter's volatile weather using the latest forecasting technology to give you advance warning. And when winter does its worst, we're at our best, bringing you comprehensive storm coverage and live on-scene reports. The Weather Channel. Depend on us to keep you ahead of the storm.
All right, it's time to check on a couple of radars for you. We'll start you off with the lightning data. And while these thunderstorms are just erupting rapidly here, there's potential for severe weather, high winds, and very heavy rains. And this line right here, look at it. This one looks bad in terms of rain. Looks like we could see some flooding rains out of that. As we go to the radars up close, see some rain headed up across northern Ohio, just passing north of Columbus here. Well, down to the south here. Here's the mother lode. Here's Nashville. Wow, that is one ugly looking line of storms and very heavy torrential rains coming on up here through Kentucky and West Tennessee. So just a real bad situation in through here. Then off to the western Arkansas, you can see the western edge of that rain area. And notice it's just kind of going over the same places. So we're going to see quite a load of rain here. Then farther west, another round of heavy rain and thunderstorms moving past Dallas and through eastern Oklahoma. 5-day outlook is coming up next.
Selling a house is no vacation, but that's just what the Walkers got when they sold their house with our ERA office. The ERA Seller Security Plan guaranteed that if we didn't sell their house, ERA would buy it. ERA even agreed to take the risk of selling the house at a loss. But when we sold it for more, the Walkers got the profit. They used the extra money to take a vacation. The ERA Seller Security Plan, just the kind of help you'd expect from a friend.
Call 1-800-272-1234. ERA, first in service.
That's bad.
What?
I took the stairs at work yesterday. Before you know it, I'm huffing.
So?
I'm puffing.
It's a lot of stairs.
You know, look at me. I eat junk. I don't work out. I'm getting my father's body.
Thousands of people have started turning their lives around with 4 little words. Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes. It's a start.
You only have one heart. And as part of a low-fat, low-cholesterol diet, Complete Bran Flakes and 40 other Kellogg cereals can help you take care of it.
Get detailed ski conditions for over 200 resorts on the Weather Channel website, www.weather.com. No place on Earth has better weather.
The human body. In your lifetime, you'll have but one. And what it becomes depends on what you make it. At Stairmaster, we believe that safe and effective exercise can dramatically change your life. Using our world-famous stair climber just 3 times per week will make an incredible difference. You'll lose weight and keep it off. Your body will be firmer and more attractive. You'll have more energy and improve your health with a stronger heart and lungs. Previously only available in health clubs, the world's most popular stair climber is now available to you at home. No other exercise machine can match the quality and performance of a Stairmaster workout. The time to change your life is now. Operators are standing by, so call now to receive your free Stairmaster video and information kit, including details on our low monthly payment plan. 1-800-720-1600. That's 1-800-720-1600.
This is your local forecast. And stay tuned. The national outlook is just ahead in our 5-day planner. The Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather.
A good Wednesday morning. It's now about 20 minutes after the top of the hour and time now for your 5-day planner. Well, spring is rapidly approaching, and it's typical that during this time of the year that we can see some very turbulent, very stormy conditions. There are some parts of the country enjoying still some very warm and very spring and summery temperatures. Other parts of the country still enduring some very cold, wintry weather. And it's that big clash of the air masses that often takes place. And because of that, we can see some pretty violent weather erupting. And we do have some really rough conditions blowing up this morning, especially from Arkansas into western and central Tennessee, and now lifting up towards Kentucky. A rather vigorous piece of energy in the upper levels of the atmosphere is scooting on through, and that is causing some widespread rain, some very heavy soaking rains at that. And these have been very persistent rains as we're seeing showers and thunderstorms. They keep firing over the same spots. So it's kind of a train echo effect. This is what we call when we see these persistent showers and thunderstorms. They're like trains, boxcars lined up one after another. And again, they keep firing up over the same spots. And as a result, the rain can be very, very heavy and excessive. And this is really bad because this is one area that was extremely hard hit just a few days ago. Many of the rivers and streams are still quite swollen from Ohio through Kentucky and down through Tennessee. And now we're seeing more heavy rains coming on in. So again, There could be some rapid rises in the rivers and unfortunately more serious flooding. Already flash flood watches are being hoisted for parts of the Ohio Valley through Kentucky and down towards Tennessee. So again, a very rough weather pattern throughout the eastern part of the country. Why? Well, again, we have that upper level low that's coming on through, but then at the surface, we also have a strong cold front too that's barreling in from the west. Now, luckily, this will be a fairly fast moving system. So after that round of very heavy rains this morning and early this afternoon, then things will start to taper off and improve somewhat across the Ohio Valley. But until that point, again, the very heavy rains causing major headaches from Lexington and Louisville down through Memphis and Nashville. Now, speaking of Nashville, currently, again, some severe weather cropping up right around the Nashville metro area, and there are severe thunderstorm warnings out just north of Nashville for those of you in Robertson and Cheatham counties. So be prepared for some threatening skies there. Some of these thunderstorms, as they blast through this morning, will be capable of spawning hail, dangerous lightning, very gusty winds, and again, torrential downpours as they continue to roar off towards the east very quickly. More of those rains start to flare over through West Virginia on into Pittsburgh and Philly later this afternoon. A cool rain, too, developing around Boston and New York City. But then farther to the north, in that deeper layer of cold air, the precipitation will take the form of snow. This low will really be a key player for the next 24 to 48 hours or so. It will lift through the Ohio Valley, but then eventually redevelop off the coast. Still a lot of wraparound moisture, and the snows will be quite appreciable across upstate New York and across New England. Winter storm watches are out for today, especially for northern New York, on into parts of Vermont and New Hampshire. Some of the higher elevations looking at about 6 to 7 inches of wet, heavy snowfall by this evening, but then even more snows on top of that tomorrow. And total snow accumulations could be approaching close to a foot over sections of the Northeast. Meanwhile, high pressure keeping it kind of quiet across the plain states, and not much happening either across the west. So some nice weather conditions from San Francisco through Pebble Beach. Nice day for maybe some golf around Pebble Beach and Monterey Bay. And then some fair skies, too, on into Los Angeles and San Diego. Meanwhile, the Pacific Northwest still staying very unsettled. The rain and the mountain snow. Heaviest rains today west of the Cascades. But as far as the lower 48 is concerned, the heaviest rains right there where we don't need it, right there in the Ohio Valley. Again, to the north, the precipitation takes on some wintry conditions. Again, more snow, most of that across New England today. Now, as far as temperatures are concerned, they will stay fairly layered across the country. That's because the jet stream slicing right across the north, keeping the coolest of air poised across the northern tier, and then still rather mild as we head southward. Now, by tonight, though, cooling into the 30s around Dallas. But then during the afternoon, no problem. Some 60s for Dallas and Houston, looking fairly mild too on into New Orleans, right around the French Quarters, and then 70s and 80s making up most of Florida. So again, temperatures very spring-like across the south, but still rather wintry from Chicago and Detroit back over towards Boston. Again, with that cold air camped over the northeast, a strong northwesterly flow, and more snow showers come tomorrow. That will start to wind down, that our new storm system will start to get going across the west and quickly zip out across the plains for Saturday and Sunday, spreading in more showers and more thunderstorms. Well, stick around for those of you doing some traveling. It could be a nightmare. We'll have the Traveler's Update next.
Excuse me, did you know that grass is a fat-free food? And so is Hershey's chocolate syrup. So it adds no fat to milk. As a matter of fact, it's always been that way.
Now he tells me.
Dear, I want to talk to you about our retirement.
Oh, so many plans?
We can't.
We can't what?
Retire. We can't retire. You might even think about taking a second job.
Kidding.
Remember how we used to talk about putting some money aside?
Yes.
Well, we never did.
How did that happen?
Who knows? Listen, you like to get outside, don't you? Cut the grass. Lots of yards in this neighborhood. I see income potential here.
Don't let this happen to you. Plan with Alliance today. You, your financial advisor, and Alliance Capital, one of the largest investment managers in the world.
Well, it's time again for our Traveler's Update. We'll start you off by taking a look at the lightning data. And there you can see the thunderstorms exploding here across the lower Mississippi Valley, moving into Tennessee. We've had some severe thunderstorm warnings out here this morning from Texas up into middle Tennessee, and there is also a severe thunderstorm watch out and through here as well. The potential for severe weather we think exists today from Texas right on over to the western Carolinas. Checking on the radar, well, you can see the rain up to the north here, a little wet snow on the edge of it. Down to the south, though, very heavy downpours coming up through Arkansas into west and into middle Tennessee. And as we check on our flood watches, they're out again for good reason. From Tennessee, all right, on up into southeast Ohio, right up through the Ohio Valley here, more problems with heavy rain. Where will the snow be? We'll be moving up through the lakes region and into the interior northeast. Winds, they're pretty brisk out here in the plains. We are looking for windy travel here. Stay with us for Weatherscope.
The big hitters of the PGA Tour are about to get some help with their games. Peter Jacobsen's brought on a new coach. David Duval's getting tactical tips. Jeff Mackert's working with a seasoned pro. And Mark O'Mara's taking strategy lessons. Because starting now, they're playing with a trained team of independent financial advisors. And they're playing with Charles Schwab, just chosen the official investment firm of the PGA Tour. So now, tour players can take advantage of retirement plan services through Schwab with innovative investment tools, scores of choices, and one of the largest online trading systems. And if they want to turn their money over to a professional to manage, they can choose from a network of independent financial advisors. It's good to know that no matter how things go off the tee, someone is helping take care of the green. Find out how Schwab can help your financial game. Call 1-800-4-SCHWAB and get investing the way it should be.
Ahead on Weatherscope, planning your day, we'll have the latest conditions across the nation and your regional forecast coming up on Weatherscope after your local forecast. This is your local forecast. Weather information you can plan on, only on the Weather Channel.
Well, thanks again, and good morning. Mark Mancuso here, getting my act together and trying to keep up with this interesting weather that is developing this morning from Texas on up into Ohio. Heavy rain, thunderstorms. Severe thunderstorm watches out for parts of northeast Texas this morning already. Some severe thunderstorms showing up from Texas to Tennessee.
And we're seeing some violent weather erupting across the southeast, but then farther to the north, still some wintry weather to be found.
Okay, the snow's not over. Could have some problems in New England tonight.
All righty, let's check out how the weather's shaping up around the country from coast to coast with our latest satellite picture. Still much of Georgia and Florida enjoying some beautifully fair skies. Another nice night for some stargazing. But to the Midwest, well, we've got some nasty thunderstorms.
Of the sun there.
That's right.
Blizzard conditions towards Bismarck this morning with the winds blowing. They've been out of the north at about 20 to 25 miles per hour.
Right.
So very difficult for travelers and residents in that area. Hopefully you don't have to travel. Travel's still not advised this morning.
A bit of a thaw, and now winter is back. And we're going to show you some of the problems that we've been seeing in the Northeast and on into the upper Midwest as we go to our satellite photograph. And the satellite photograph certainly reveals. Okay, we don't have the satellite photograph.
Well, there is some good news. We have some video of the southeastern state. Can we go to that? Would that be all right? The southeastern United States, high pressure over the area is bringing above normal temperatures, and a dry period is headed for the flood-soaked Ohio Valley. Now, floodwaters there still remain very high. We're looking at, do we not? Thank you. Louisville was hit especially hard, with many residents forced to evacuate homes and businesses. Now, there will be some light showers. We do have another system coming down in the direction of the southern plains tonight, but little additional rain will be added to the flood problem. And I use the word little, a little loosely there. We are going to see some showers, but any of the heavier stuff will probably be isolated, okay? And we're looking at the residents, and they certainly have a lot of cleanup ahead, but it does look like we're going to see a drier period ahead, and we'll be telling you about that in the forecast.
The flooding has really been devastating, though, Lisa. From northern Mississippi, Alabama, North Georgia had flood warnings in the area. But Kentucky, Louisville, with 10.5 inches of rain in 24 hours, blew away the old 24-hour record. And that being the 1st of March, they got up to within number 2 on the all-time list for the month just in one day. And so quite a record there.
A little hard to imagine if you've never lived in that area. It's very hilly terrain, and throughout that area, so you have the highlands and you also have the lowlands. So without that water being able to saturate, unfortunately, areas that are prone to flood with just normal, quote, normal amounts of rain are really looking for some trouble coming up.
And this is on the heels of, I think it was just before Memorial Day last year, Butler County got devastated with a tornado. And yesterday here on the Weather Channel, we were showing you a video of Butler County again with floodwaters up to even the upper first floor of some folks' houses. So it's been a rough, I guess, 9 or 10 months for the Louisville area.
Yeah, it takes a little time to, when you're talking about pumping out water like that, because there's really nowhere to pump it to.
Right.
You know?
Photographs on the Weather Channel recently of folks being rescued from the upper floors of their houses in southern Ohio. The Licking River covering a bridge that folks said they'd never seen that bridge covered before. And I think it's the Stone River had the river gauge underwater for the last few days, so they don't even know how high the river is.
Oh. On the other hand, there is some good news to tell you about also. Now, the snowbirds in Florida have experienced some record warm temperatures, not just for a couple of days. Yesterday, the temperatures were in the 80s, but last week they had temperatures in the 80s. And in the forecast, the high temperatures will still be in the 80s. And let's take a look at the satellite picture.
Okay, we'll show you a little bit of the current weather scenario that we're seeing right now. And satellite picture showing a spinning motion of almost an Alberta Clipper type system moving on up through the upper Midwest. And that really has focused on Minnesota. Duluth, Minneapolis, we've gotten 2 to 3 inches of snow overnight. And onward into the eastern United States, our big ball of cloudiness that came on through yesterday is now offshore. And that is the one with the legacy. This very upper low brought heavy snow to the Rockies, even the Grand Canyon a few days ago. Then that devastating tornado outbreak that you saw around Arkadelphia, Arkansas. Take a look at the sequence here. In Little Rock, fatalities numbering 24 in Arkansas. But all of a sudden, this thing shot right out. And that was a blessing for the folks in West Virginia, because there you had flood watches yesterday, flash flood watches, but things went through so fast, and even southern Ohio, that the rivers came up just a little bit more, and then that was it. But the snow track just to the north, Pennsylvania getting 3 to 4 inches of snow, the southern tier of New York 3 to 4, and it's still snowing a little bit in the Catskills of New York on into southern New England. Our next weather problem is, again, this upper level low moving on through parts of the upper Midwest with that snow from Minneapolis into about Green Bay. But Chicagoland, you're not worrying too much right now because things are kind of cloudy, and you may get a backlash of a few snow flurries. Detroit, a few rain showers possible, but just as things usually go, here's the next low-pressure system coming out of the Rockies with snow, Wyoming, on into the Rockies of Colorado. Dallas's weather has turned around tremendously in the 70s every day, and even Little Rock coming on through very, very nice. Well, the start to March has been either wet or dry, depending on where you are. And you'll see that we had a very wet start in Louisville, Kentucky, and a pretty dry start in parts of the west. With the jet stream going north, yes, we have had our moisture, we have had our flow off the Pacific Ocean, and kind of drippy days around Seattle and Portland. Disturbances lifting up, but there has been a lot of snow. The Cascades coming in with a foot or even 2 feet of snow around Snoqualmie Pass and northern Idaho, but east of the Cascades, it's been very dry. Wenatchee, Washington with 0.02 of an inch in the month, and on into Burns, Oregon, very dry conditions. So we go back to climatology on this western situation, Lisa. Cascades west, it's very moist, very lush, and onto the east, it's grasslands. And since March 1st, that has been the story there.
Yeah, and Wednesday it does look like another system is coming on board, so that means some more cloud cover and, of course, more rain showers, not only for Washington, but Oregon State again also.
Right, but things moving eastward rather than southward, the Canadian air kind of stays in Canada right now.
Yeah.
And
you mentioned that flow. Well, you know, that's going to be due to that long wave pattern. It's looking like that split flow, and the majority of the energy still looking like, I haven't looked at that long wave pattern this morning, but last night, is it still like that this morning, Mike?
the Canadian air is pretty much bottled up in Canada, and Alaska has been very cold recently. But being March and early in March, this always can change, and things could mix on down to the south again.
Oh, boy, okay. Well, we will be keeping you posted on that. It does look like coming up, we'll be taking a look at that local forecast. Of course, we've got a radar update coming up, too. So we'll be right back.
Stay with us.
Let me tell you about fish sticks. They're crunchy, and it tastes really good. You can pick them up. You don't have to chop it up like this, all to pieces. Then you dip it in. V-A-N to camps. I usually eat 4 or 5.
Vandicams, the fish kids like to eat.
You should get your mom to get some.
This is your local forecast, weather information you can plan on, because we show it on the 8s of every hour. Local on the 8s on the Weather Channel.
My meeting's running late, so you need to start the pot roast. Come on, you can handle it. Just open the bag and season. Add water and seasoning, toss in veggies. The roast bastes itself in the bag, so it'll come out tender and juicy. Now feel up to tossing a salad.
For mouth-watering meals without the mess, flavor up with McCormick Bag and Season. Perfectly tender, perfectly seasoned every single time.
I'll be home soon. Think you could start without me?
A lot of folks need peace of mind these days, and that's just what they get with Napa Auto Care's Peace of Mind warranty. Repairs are guaranteed on both parts and labor for 6 months or 6,000 miles anywhere they travel. And when they use the Napa card, they're guaranteed doubles to 12 months or 12,000 miles. How do I know our customers find peace of mind here? Because I own this shop, and their peace of mind is guaranteed.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
Napa Auto Care Centers. Napa, we keep America running.
Stay ahead of winter with one complete forecast. The Winter Weather Update at 50 past the hour only on the Weather Channel.
Thanks for tuning into the Weather Channel. Mike, Bono, and Lisa Mozer in the studio as we're looking at warm front coming on through parts of Germany and back on into France with a southwesterly wind. This is a warm wedge of air. We often call that the warm sector in the vernacular of open wave cyclones. In fact, a man named Bjerknes that was born in Scandinavia early in the 20th century came up with the whole theory of the polar fronts, with the warm fronts and cold fronts marching their way through. So appropriate. One of those is moving toward Scandinavia right now. In the 40s in parts of Germany and Poland, to 50s in Paris and 60s down toward Madrid. We're seeing the Balkans coming in quite warm, as Athens should be in the low 70s by tomorrow. Brussels mid-50s, and London coming in with some better weather. Madrid low 70s. It's kind of like spring right now in Europe. It's crazy. With partly cloudy skies in Paris, a little cooler than you have been. Stockholm 40s, and Vienna coming in the low 50s, so no complaints in that area. Well, stay with us. We've got some radars to look at. Lisa Mozer returns, and then, of course, we'll have our winter weather update. It's getting wintry in some places again. Stay with us.
Mom's on the phone. She'll be home late. Cheese to the rescue. Make a chicken cheddar grill. Chicken cheddar salsa, too. Cheese again. They love it. Ooh. Cheese to the rescue. Cheese.
Good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm Lisa Mozer along with Mike Bono and our technical director, that's Ralph. And Ralph, I apologize, I forgot your last name, but I do hear a rumor that you might be, hearing wedding bells soon. Okay, enough gossip about the Weather Channel. Let's take a look at the radar. We're looking at the regional picture, and the skiers towards Denver, hey, you've gotten several inches overnight in the highlands, and you're going to be in for some more, so some fresh snow to ski on. Nothing like that powder brushing up in your face as you're going down slope. Wouldn't know. I've only done cross-country skiing, but that's what I hear anyway. We'll continue to see some blizzard conditions move in towards Minnesota. Driving, not a real good idea in this vicinity. The snow, it has tapered down this morning, but the winds have been out of the north, and they've been quite strong, so we've got a lot of blowing snow in addition to the falling snow. It's pretty much moved out of the Dakotas vicinity and over towards Michigan. And look out, Minneapolis, looks like you're getting some moderate snow at this time falling down. It's tapered down significantly since this morning over Fargo. But you did have 5.8 inches last time I checked. Probably there's some addition to that. Well, coming up, we'll be telling you your local forecast. And look out for some warm...
Excuse me, did you know that grass is a fat-free food? And so is Hershey's chocolate syrup. So it adds no fat to milk. As a matter of fact, it's always been that way.
Now he tells me. I have looked into the eyes of temptation, and his name is Tony.
Brave adults confront their uncontrollable desire for Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
I'm just looking for someone who understands my needs. Love, acceptance, frosting.
One bite of that sweet crunch will prove that nothing can't be overcome with a spoon.
My hands shake. I start to sweat. What do they seal those bags with anyway?
Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
These sizes must run small.
Oh, these pants are great, as long as I don't move.
This skirt must have shrunk in the closet.
Fat-free Quaker caramel corn cakes, 50 calories, zero excuse.
Stay ahead of winter weather. Watch the winter weather update at 50 past the hour on the Weather Channel. Our team of experts continuously monitor winter's fast-moving weather systems and bring you an up-to-the-minute forecast every hour. One complete report that lets you know when and where temperatures will plunge, where snowstorms are developing, how much snow they'll bring, and where travel may be dangerous. The winter weather update at 50 past the hour, only on the Weather Channel, sponsored by Presto. Get detailed ski conditions for over 200 resorts on the Weather Channel website, www.weather.com. No place on Earth has better weather.
Today, Microsoft makes the internet easy. Today, it's the Microsoft Network, and it's free for a month. Today, it's easier to do what you want, keep in touch, and have some fun. Today, life just got a whole lot easier. It was the best of times. Today, it's different. The Microsoft Network is free for a month when you call 1-800-647-3800. MSN brings the internet to life right on your Windows 95-based PC with sound, motion, and more. Send and receive email. Get the news as it happens. Plan and book a trip. Manage your investments. And about a million other things. Call 1-800-647-3800 for your free month today. You'll get a free CD-ROM with an MSN preview video to get you started.
It's just really extraordinary to see what you can do.
And unlimited hours on MSN and the internet. Free for a month. So call today, and you're on your way.
This is your local forecast, weather information you can plan on, because we show it on the 8s of every hour. Local on the 8s on the Weather Channel. The Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather.
Time now for our winter weather update, and temperatures are on a lot of people's minds as it's early March, and a lot of things can happen in March. If you've seen, we've had temperatures in the mid-70s in the last few days as far north as southern New Jersey. The last 5 days we've had 70s all over the Northeast, and then you had a snowstorm late yesterday with a slushy March-like snow in the New York metro area. 33 degrees now. So disappointingly chilly today, 34 in Boston and 40 in Washington, D.C. Atlanta's on the way up, though, after being in the mid-70s yesterday or upper 70s, 49. You can just add many degrees to many of these temperatures. Wherever that sun is coming out in the south, you're going to be seeing some rising temperatures. But with easterly winds off the water and off snow-covered ground in a lot of southern New England back to New York City and Philadelphia, don't expect the temperature to recover too much, especially southern New England. Much of that snow now moving offshore. We're seeing a little bit of snow coming through northern lower Michigan, around the Grand Rapids area up toward Traverse City and Duluth and Minneapolis. You've got some snow there for the most part. And it's been piling up overnight, and especially on into Fargo, North Dakota, where you broke your all-time seasonal snowfall record. Back on into Denver, Colorado, yeah, there's some snow in there too. The wind chill is only 11 degrees with some 6-degree wind chill temperatures showing up right now in Dodge City, Kansas. It feels like 11 in New York and 16 in Boston, 12 in Minneapolis with the effect of the wind. As we notice, the snowfall will be continuing. Green Bay up to Marquette, Alpena, Traverse City, and right around Minneapolis, blowing snow, and some of that snow extending up into the Fargo-Moorhead City area. So just about a blizzard-type condition there, at least temporarily deteriorating to blizzard conditions. So we're back into the heart of winter in this vicinity. Much unlike we've seen recently, because you've had thawing and even some ice jamming and flooding in the upper Midwest lately. Colorado Rockies get the snow, Utah gets the snow, and back on into the Cascades, you get the snow as well. Now, as far as this morning's weather roundup goes, we'll notice the current weather map showing that the snow is still falling to some degree on into Connecticut and Rhode Island. There's a warm front, so a tremendous changeover in the weather moving toward Pittsburgh right now. if that low cloud and fog ever breaks, you're going to head up to 55 or 60 degrees, while New York hovers around upper 30s most of the day. So there's the rub, and there's the front. A hairpin front dragging some of that cool air into North Carolina as well. Some cold air descending on down through Rapid City, and we're seeing Denver, Colorado in the snow, and on into Rawlins, Wyoming. Now, Salt Lake City looks better than yesterday, I think. The Wasatch will still get some snow and some fog around the Willamette Valley, around Eugene, and even on the coast. We're looking at low pressure again, with the satellites showing in white, the clouds showing up in white, and some of that snow showing up in green in northern parts of Minnesota and up toward Rhineland to Wisconsin. So still looking wintry here, and you've had a lot of snow in the northern Rockies the last few days. In fact, even back to the Cascades. Kalispell, Montana, after being down to about 3-foot snow depth, is now up to about 45 inches again. So there's an indication. Up around Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, Idaho, we've had plenty of snow. Kootenai County in Idaho, and back towards Spokane, especially in the mountains. So winter back with you folks. The Cascades getting a load of snow. Even Timberline Lodge coming in with 2 to 3 feet in just the last few days in Oregon, east of Portland. It's chilly, though, to be sure, in parts of West Virginia. As we look at our satellite photograph in motion, we're looking at most of the moisture being steered of West Virginia and Washington, D.C. A little bit cloudy this morning, but with any luck, you'll begin to break out and spring-like weather coming on in. With many blossoming trees in full bloom in the Atlanta metro area, the Bradford pears and now the cherries are starting to come out. You got to believe that some of those fruit and blossoming trees will be starting to break all the way through the Mid-South if this weather keeps up for any time longer. There's a trough over Colorado and Wyoming, though, and anything but spring-like here. Rapid City with the snow off toward Cheyenne, Wyoming, and some snow still up into a good chunk of the northern Rockies. The forecast has you still stuck in that easterly flow in New York and Boston and Hartford, even Philadelphia, but we expect that warm front to wing on through about Pittsburgh. If not today, then overnight. Now, rain could begin to increase in the Cleveland area, but Detroit will be on the border between rain and snow. Ditto that for Chicago. Looks like Minneapolis, you're on the edge of some snow. We've got a big high over the Great Basin, snow in the northern Rockies, and some rain, again, plaguing areas like Portland, Seattle, and down toward North Bend, Oregon, and on into, say, Eureka, California. Almost looks like another clipper coming by. This particular low, starting out like a clipper-type low in the northern stream, brings rain this time to New York and Boston. Doesn't look like the same setup at all as it was yesterday with that cold high poised to the north. Don't get excited about getting a lot of snow out of this one along the coastline in New England. The snow cover will be well north after this Cape Cod snow gets out of the way today, with temperatures warming up in the south and still pretty chilly up around Minnesota. You want to stay with us. We have the driver's report coming up. Lots of travel problems here and there, and your forecast in your area coming up too.
Are you tired of struggling with can openers? There's always a sharp metal edge. Ouch! Now there's Perfect Can. It opens the safe, easy way without sharp metal edges. Other openers cut a metal edge that's sharp as a razor. Perfect Can cuts so smoothly, it won't even pull these stockings. The secret is the side-winding action. It cuts along the side of the can under the thick safety lip. Tired of messy tinfoil covers? Perfect Can's lids fit safely on top of the can. Ordinary openers get stuck. What a mess! Perfect Can cuts a perfect circle in seconds. The handle turns quickly and easily, then just discard the lid. Perfect Can is dishwasher safe. Now order Perfect Can for only $14.95. Order now, and as a bonus, get the deluxe bottle and jar opener. Pops open the tightest seals, the world's best can opener, and the best bottle opener, all only $14.95.
To order Perfect Can, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-200-8100 or send check or money order for $14.95 plus $3.95 shipping and handling to Perfect Can, 507 Maple Leaf Drive, Nashville, Tennessee. Call 1-800-200-8100.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
Tuesday morning, everyone. Now, if you are doing some traveling, hopefully you're not headed towards western Minnesota because travel is not advised. We have light snow mostly in the area falling, but it's the blowing snow that is causing the visibility to be very poor. So travel is just really hazardous in the vicinity this morning. We're talking about northerly winds at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So you can imagine the kind of conditions that are there at this time. Down towards Minneapolis, the snow is moderate falling at this time. Later on today, we'll be looking at some rain showers moving in towards Little Rock, Arkansas, and Memphis. But we're only talking about some scattered showers at this time. Not looking forward to additional precipitation towards the northeast. Most of the snow is pretty much tapered off, and we are looking for a lot of melting in the northeast because temperatures are going to be quite warm later on today. So much of this is already over. We'll continue to watch this blowing snow into the afternoon, and also later today we'll continue to see the snow accumulate towards the Rockies. So that ski report is looking a little bit better. We'll be back with the details coming up in WeatherScope.
Now you can give them pizza whenever they want. Pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper time. When pizza's on a bagel, you can eat pizza anytime. Pizza Bagel Bites. Bite-sized pizzas on wholesome little bagels.
Stay ahead of winter with one complete forecast. The Winter Weather Update at 50 past the hour only on the Weather Channel. This is your local forecast. Weather information you can plan on only on the Weather Channel. This is WeatherScope.
The flood-out Ohio Valley will see drier weather ahead. Welcome to this edition of WeatherScope in the Weather Channel's new Advanced Weather Center. Good morning, everyone. I'm Lisa Mozer.
And I'm Mike Bono. The southeast enjoys mild weather and warm temperatures, while colder weather and snow have returned to the northern plains and areas of New England. New Jersey, for instance, got some heavy snow yesterday. The wet snow is a nuisance for drivers, and residents probably weren't too happy either with the snow shovels after all this warm weather you've had. Parts of New Jersey got 2 to 4 inches of snow. As we see here, the trees heavily laden with snow. Meanwhile, you want to talk snow, trouble with snow, Fargo, North Dakota. A storm system in the upper Midwest dropped about 12 inches of snow in some areas. In fact, Fargo has broken a record for the amount of snowfall received in a season, with 96 inches of snow so far. Heavy winds will cause near blizzard conditions again today. So that gets a little old after a while. And it's only March 3rd. In Fargo, you still could get snow into April, but no promises there. As we take a look at our current weather map, we'll see that for the most part, we're going to have low pressure moving on offshore. But there's a little wedge of cold air that's kind of worked its way in, and that's the same cold high that brought you the snow instead of rain in New York and northern New Jersey and on up to Hartford and New Haven yesterday. Still snowing a little bit in eastern Massachusetts. And that very wedge of cold air is going to keep your temperatures down and to keep the low clouds in. There is some warmer air flowing up and over, which could even turn some of the snow near the coast to rain in the New York metro and southwest Connecticut as the warm air overtakes the cold air. Now, places where it's close to freezing, you could even have freezing drizzle out of this. There's a lot of cool air that's reluctant to go away. But the significant precipitation doesn't amount to a whole lot anymore. There's still a little bit moseying off the coast around Boston and up around the Thousand Islands and Messina, New York. We've got some snow. Also down around northeastern Rhode Island, there's some snow lingering around the radar site not too far from Taunton, Mass. As that goes on out to sea, just some snow, drizzle, drizzles of snow, just very light precipitation that could kind of ice up in some areas. But it's just above freezing New York City, but 27 in Albany. You see what I mean by the temperature being near freezing? 37 in Pittsburgh, but your temperature could shoot up if that warm front gets in there today. As you see, the upper levels, as evidenced by these clouds, are pushing warm air in the direction of Pittsburgh, but it's just not happening right now. We've got some snow hanging around Minneapolis, 30. It continues to accumulate. It's only 8 in Fargo. It's 2 below in Minot, and that's not a wind chill temperature. 36 Chicago, about the same in Cleveland. Most of your snow here will be to the north in Minneapolis and about Green Bay. As you see, Chicago, Detroit, no worries. And some snow in New England, north, and again around Cape Cod. Now back to Lisa.
Thank you for that update, Mike. There is good news for the southeastern states. High pressure over the area is bringing above normal temperatures, and a dry period is headed for the flood-soaked area of Ohio, the Ohio Valley. Floodwaters are still remaining high in the Ohio Valley today. Louisville was hit especially hard, with many residents forced to evacuate homes and their businesses. Now, there will still be some light showers around Louisville tonight, but, this is the but, okay, with little addition to the flood amounts, totals, okay? Now, dry weather will move in tomorrow. And we'll take a look at that forecast now. We've got some better conditions ahead. Looking at the temperatures, you can see where it is cold up towards Dakota, Bismarck, 4 degrees, but down towards Miami already. Looking at a temperature of 73, you'll see some 80s there today. Just wait, you can see where some colder air, the closer you get to that Canadian border, the more it feels like winter. But to the south, spring pretty much has sprung. We're looking at the satellite view, and we've got a little bit more onshore flow. You saw that little spin curlicue there? Let me see if I can go back to it. Let's try that. Well, I didn't want to do that. Okay. But we've got some spotted rain showers out there. That's going to be increasing along with the cloud cover overnight tonight and tomorrow. So know where your umbrella is. You'll especially need it as you make your way into work tomorrow morning as that system does come on board. Looking at more snow, Denver, the high areas in your vicinity, looking for several more inches to accumulate. We're looking at the current surface map. Now, this is some warmer air, so we're getting that southwesterly flow over the Ohio Valley. So it's always nicer if you have to work outside cleaning out the basement or pumping out water there. You do have some nicer temperatures, so it is going to be a much warmer day. Look out for that. We started out with quite a few patchy areas of fog. Visibility still a little low in a lot of areas down towards the south with that southerly flow. Now, we have a northerly flow coming in across much of the Dakotas and Minnesota. Light snow for the most part over western Minnesota, but with that blowing snow, we're talking about pretty poor visibility, and you do have some pretty slippery roads out there where you've had several inches to accumulate overnight. So still travel, not a real good idea today. Maybe you can put it off another day. Things will be looking better for you. Looking again at the temperatures, you can see that it's much colder to the north, but temperatures beginning to warm up over the mid-Atlantic states. To the south, it's going to be a pretty nice day. Atlanta already at 49 degrees, Tampa at 70. We've got a little bit of cloud cover towards the north, and that's hindering some parts of the panhandle. You notice that Panama only had that temperature of 59 degrees. We'll continue to watch the warm temperatures spread across the area. In the forecast, boy, I tell you, it's looking pretty good down there. We'll be watching this frontal boundary. As this system pushes a little closer to Lake Ontario, we're going to see a little more system snow towards Michigan. Alpena, Michigan, for the month of February, had a new monthly total for precipitation. So congratulations in order, I kind of guess. High pressure beginning to bring in some colder air in behind the system. So we're going to see temperatures a little bit cooler getting down towards Madison, Wisconsin. You'll notice maybe a little break in the cloud cover. It's been pretty cloudy there for the past several days, but still pretty cold. So don't let that sunshine fool you tomorrow afternoon. It's still going to be pretty winter-like to the touch and to the feel as you make your way outside. You'll have to dress the part. Another system coming in, this one associated with a little more precipitation. By midweek, that will be bringing a little more snow to that Alpena and leeward sides of the lake, so a little enhancement there also. So the total's already still adding up, and we're only in the first month of the March month. We're looking at the highest elevations getting significant amounts, above 6 inches possible, but a very small area. It'll be very limited, more widespread. We're only talking about maybe 1 to 3 inches in the Rockies with the next system coming across. And look at the temperatures. Boy, I tell you, this is really impressive. We're talking about temperatures that are feeling very much spring-like, all the way from the Big Bend area to the Carolinas. Lots of 70s, lots of good golfing weather coming up this weekend. You certainly want to put those children and the pets outside to enjoy some very warm weather outside. I'm not sure if it's too early to set your plants outside or not, but maybe you can open the windows and kind of let some of the winter germs pass out, you know, in a little fresh air. My windows have been shut all winter season, so I think I'm going to be doing that.
It's always nice to let a little fresh air in. And that's kind of a preview for our garden weather segment that comes up this time of the year. It pretty much tells you folks when to be able to put certain plants in the ground and things like that, and that season's coming up.
So we can start thinking about that.
That's right.
I like the way you're thinking.
But you know what? We're going to have to take a look at ski forecast coming up next.
For everybody out there gifted with a photographic memory, I present the new 270.
Destruction in parts of the south and even potential for more damaging weather continues tonight. We're covering this unusual outbreak of January storms. There's also rising water in the Midwest as heavy rain and melting snow continue to cause major flooding problems in some areas. And farther north, it's snow rather than rain that's slowing you down a bit this Friday evening. There you have it. We got it all. Powerful storms, flooding rains, and snow. It's on this edition of Weather Center, being sponsored by Land Rover. Hello, I'm Paul Emick.
And I'm Sharon Resulton. We're going to begin now with the southern storms. This unusual January outbreak of severe weather began yesterday, continued all day today, and will be a dangerous threat into the overnight. Warren Madden is in the forecast center with the latest. Warren?
Thanks very much, Sharon. Although the thunderstorms continue tonight to rumble across Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, and into Louisiana, fortunately, the number of tornadoes we have seen today is far less than what we saw yesterday when we saw dozens of tornadoes rumble across Arkansas and Mississippi, Tennessee, quite a wide swath, a January outbreak of severe weather that will long be remembered. There are still tornado watches in effect, though, from the
Tired of cold season, raspy coughs, sore throats. Here's the power to see you through it. New improved Halls with advanced vapor action. More power to soothe.
If weather affects your business, an inaccurate forecast or day-old radar map can cost you big money. But now, thanks to DTN Weather Center, you can receive up-to-the-minute weather information the instant you need it at the touch of a button. For about $2 a day, you'll have unlimited 24-hour access to over 100 color weather maps, including live full-motion Doppler radar. Even zoom in on your county. Call now for more information on a 7-day free trial. DTN Weather Center, we're made for your business.
Now you can give them pizza whenever they want. Pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper time. When pizza's on a bagel, you can eat pizza anytime. Pizza Bagel Bites. Bite-sized pizzas on wholesome little bagels.
Stay ahead of winter weather. Watch the winter weather update at 50 past the hour on the Weather Channel. Our team of experts continuously monitor winter's fast-moving weather systems and bring you an up-to-the-minute forecast every hour. One complete report that lets you know when and where temperatures will plunge, where snowstorms are developing, how much snow they'll bring, and where travel may be dangerous. The winter weather update at 50 past the hour, only on the Weather Channel, sponsored by Presto.
Time now to check the skiers' conditions, and we have some new snow to tell you about, especially as you head out towards Colorado. We're looking at 1 new inch in Steamboat. It's packed powder. A little more towards Park City, Utah, 7 inches. It too is powder. And look out, because it does look like in the higher elevations above 6 inches, likely in the Denver, Colorado highlands, and more widespread. We're talking lighter amounts. We also have some snow, not really fit for skiing, but it will be making travel a little bit of a problem towards Minnesota. Additional onshore flow, and that means in the Cascades and the Northern Rockies, it does look like more snow coming your way. We'll be checking the local ski conditions next, so hey, that's right here.
I keep reading about this one mutual fund, so I ask them about it. Oh, our blah blah fund is just as good, but I don't see their blah blah fund on this list. Now what?
At Schwab, we don't push funds. We show you performance in our mutual fund select list. Call 1-800-790-7704 and get your copy free.
So it's Monday morning, and I decide to move money from one fund to another. I gotta call up one fund, wait for a check, mail the check, wait for it to clear. Now it's next Monday.
With Mutual Fund OneSource, choose from hundreds of no-load funds and get one statement. Which to choose? Call Schwab for our select list free.
They recommend this, then that. Then they recommend I sell the first thing they recommended.
This was supposed to be easy.
Now what do I do?
Then I get my statement. Ouch.
Get someone on your side. Get the investment firm where no one is on commission. Call 1-800-790-7704 and get our mutual fund select list absolutely free.
Winter, numbing cold, crippling ice storms, devastating floods, paralyzing blizzards. This winter, know what may lie ahead. Watch the Weather Channel. Over 60 meteorologists continuously monitor and track winter's volatile weather using the latest forecasting technology to give you advance warning. And when winter does its worst, we're at our best, bringing you comprehensive storm coverage and live on-scene reports. The Weather Channel. Depend on us to keep you ahead of the storm.
Time to check the Northeast forecast, and well, you've been putting up with a lot lately. The weather's been very fickle to you folks in Philadelphia and New York, coming up into the mid-70s, low to mid-70s at the very end of February, and then you had a snowstorm yesterday. And there's still some, well, precipitation, let's say, lingering around. Decidedly wet snow, Boston, Cape Cod, Providence, New Haven, Hartford, and even the New York area, but going over toward drizzle, too, because there's a lot of warm air. That's what this warm front means. The upper levels have warm air that's ushering in the next air mass, so the ground levels, the lower levels, are the only ones that still have the cold air. As you can see on radar, not a whole lot showing up anymore, except a little bit of light snow in Cape Cod. Okay, the forecast temperatures for the next few days. We'll notice Boston coming in with decidedly sunnier weather, 30s at night, 40s in the day. New York City could have a little bit of a rain-snow mix Friday. Philadelphia, some showers tomorrow, north end of a system in the south. And Washington, D.C. looking pretty good. The 5-day planner for all you folks coming up.
Nothing melts away the cold like a delicious hot bowl of Campbell's soup.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Campbell's makes everything.
Today in pediatricians' offices, parents are hearing about a new fever medicine, Children's Advil.
as safe on a child's stomach as children's Tylenol. Yet children's Advil can control fevers faster, almost 45 minutes faster, and lasts almost twice as long. In fact, in a major study to treat sick children, doctors preferred children's Advil 2-to-1 over children's Tylenol. It's all about helping our children feel better sooner. New children's Advil, just a better fever medicine.
Get detailed ski conditions for over 200 resorts on the Weather Channel website, www.weather.com. No place on Earth has better weather.
I cut my vitamin bill in half, thanks to Puritan's Pride.
Shopping for vitamins through this catalog is like having a factory outlet right in your mailbox.
Hundreds of thousands of people are buying their vitamins, minerals, and food supplements from the pages of Puritan's Pride. Why? Well, just look at these fantastic 2-for-1 prices. Imagine getting not one, but 2 bottles of C500 with rose hips, both for just $4.95. That's 2 for the price of 1. And look at this. Buy 1 bottle of ginseng, get another one free, 2 for only $6.25. Buying from Puritan's Pride means that you're buying direct from one of America's leading vitamin manufacturers and one of the largest. They offer a tremendous variety of products, including the newest products nutritional science has to offer. And Puritan's Pride offers you a full money-back guarantee on every purchase. So call now for your free 96-page Puritan's Pride catalog. Puritan's Pride, the smart way to buy vitamins.
This is your local forecast. And stay tuned. The national outlook is just ahead in our 5-day planner. The Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather.
Good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. I'm Lisa Mozer, standing by my partner, Mike Bono. We're looking at a couple of systems. You may recall that yesterday we had a couple inches on the ground towards the northeast. Now that system, call that the old system. Here's the new system. Now this system is a little complicated, not as well defined in some areas, but we do have a frontal boundary, and we're going to see some precipitation begin to break out this afternoon. You can see a rain shower or two kind of spotted over western Arkansas. As it does advance a little further to the east, we'll see some more of that orange show southerly flow ahead of it, and we'll look for the showers associated with that frontal boundary to increase. We're also seeing some system snow, and the high pressure beginning to settle in right now, and by tomorrow look for some colder air to make its way down towards Duluth, and with that frontal boundary, the leading edge of that colder air, we are going to see some additional snow likely to accumulate as far south as Alpena, Michigan. Last month, Alpena, you had record precipitation for the month. Congratulations in order. Probably not real happy about that. Unless, hey, you got a real good snowmobile this year. Boy, you really got a chance to use it. We'll look at this frontal boundary come into the Tennessee Valley area tomorrow afternoon, and you can really see where the rain showers along this frontal boundary really begin to pick up. Not quite as spotted as they will be this afternoon. We'll also look at another very small system that'll bring some additional snow to the eastern side of the Dakotas, North and South Dakota. So watch out again, Fargo, Aberdeen. It looks like you'll get a little new snow to pick up on. That's on top of the old snow, if you didn't pick that up already this morning. Hopefully you have. Now we have an additional system that'll increase the rain showers towards the northwest. Now, it doesn't look like this will really pick up until later tonight and into tomorrow as that next system from the Pacific does approach our area towards Boston and the extreme coastal areas. Most of that snow is pretty much over. We'll see additional snow. We're talking about light accumulation from Minnesota and much of northern Wisconsin and the UP, maybe 1 to 3 inches, okay? And a few areas over the Colorado highlands we'll see above 6 inches of snow, but more widespread, we're talking 1 to 6 inches. And the ski is real happy about that. You know, some more folks that are probably really happy today, down in Florida, up towards Valdosta, Georgia, really, really warm. We're talking spring has sprung for a lot of folks because the temperatures have been in the 80s for days and days in Florida. Makes you want to just jump on a plane and go there, right? We're talking about widespread 70s across much of the lower Mississippi Valley area and Texas. Boy, the 80s are in a big way from the Big Bend area over to Waco, Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Pretty warm, still a little cool because we're seeing that leading edge of that colder air towards Amarillo, Lubbock, not quite as warm. We're going to continue to see some pretty cold temperatures towards the northern plains. They've been in the single digits, and we're going to see them dip below that freezing, the 0 mark overnight tonight. So tomorrow morning, you got to dress for the winter weather conditions because they will certainly be felt and very, very cold-like and wintry-like because the blowing snow is still going to be occurring. We've had winds out of the north towards Fargo at about 20 miles per hour, so kind of blizzard-like. And even though the snow will be very, very light, still blowing around because of the winds being so strong in that area. Also, we're going to see some cooler temperatures towards the Rockies, and we'll look for the mid-level snows to begin to melt there with temperatures getting into the 40s. As we head into the weekend, boy, I tell you, plan some outdoor activity. You know, if you haven't taken the kids to the park in a while, Saturday's going to be kind of nice to do that. If you're in Memphis, we're looking for highs in the 60s. Even as you get into Kansas, we're talking about 60s for the highs. So if you haven't been outside with the dog or set your plants out and talk to them, hey, this is going to be some good weather to do that. On Sunday, we'll be looking at a very small area of cooler temperatures towards the extreme northern New England area. But other than that, we're going to see a lot of melting going on because we're talking about temperatures in the 30s and the 40s for a lot of New York State, Pennsylvania, where you've had some snow to fall. And it's still on the ground, but it will be melting because temperature is going to be very, very nice. And even though it's melting and getting kind of wet, we're going to see a lot of that ground begin to dry up with those warmer temperatures, too. Looking at the precipitation, boy, I tell you, not a lot to talk about, but it still is occurring, and we'll be keeping you posted on it, so don't go away.
These sizes must run small.
Oh, these pants are great, as long as I don't move.
This skirt must have shrunk in the closet.
Fat-free Quaker caramel corn cakes, 50 calories, 0 excuse.
That's bad.
What?
I took the stairs at work yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Before you know it, I'm huffing.
So?
I'm puffing.
It's a lot of stairs.
Now look at me. I eat junk. I don't work out. I'm getting my father's body.
Thousands of people have started turning their lives around with 4 little words. Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes. It's a start.
You only have one heart. And as part of a low-fat, low-cholesterol diet, Complete Bran Flakes and 40 other Kellogg cereals can help you take care of it.
WeatherScope. It's all the weather you want. Every 30 minutes on the hour and half hour on the Weather Channel.
Okay, we'll check the traveler's update right now, and not too many serious problems left, certainly as far as rain goes. On into Arkansas, the big cleanup, the devastating tornado outbreak you had, Little Rock back to Arkadelphia, Now it's raining, so it kind of makes it a little more difficult, but nothing that's going to make the rivers rise. They're actually going to slowly fall throughout the Ohio Valley. West of the Cascades, raining, Puget Sound, Seattle, down to Willamette Valley, Portland, Eugene. Luckily, we don't have any threat of severe thunderstorms today, but we do have a threat of near blizzard conditions in parts of northeast South Dakota, around Pierre and on into Watertown, South Dakota. Fargo area with your new all-time record season, 96 inches, not on the ground, but for the season, blowing snow, near blizzard conditions. Some lingering snow around Cape Cod, and then increasing snow actually in the Adirondacks of New York. Looking at some fog in the hills east of Pittsburgh, tapering off during the morning, and windy travel gusting up to 30 miles an hour. Stay with us on Weatherscope. That's what you're going to see. Miss Clipper, where does it head?
It sounds like this, and like this, and like this. It's the sound of freshness, and you hear it every time you open a jar of Campbell's delicious new soups. Soup stock so full with fresh carrots, fresh celery, fresh onions, and firm pasta, we had to put them in glass just to show them off. Campbell's fresh tasting, best tasting new soups in resealable jars. Sounds good, doesn't it?
It sure does.
The new fresh tasting soups from Campbell's.
Ahead on Weatherscope, warm spring-like conditions cover the southeast. Will the rest of the nation be nice? The latest coming up on Weatherscope after your local forecast.
This edition of Weatherscope is sponsored by Quaker Oatmeal. Oh, what those oats can do.
This is Weatherscope.
Well, it's raining in Seattle, but what is about to happen in New England puts everything else in the back seat. Good evening, I'm Dave Schwartz.
And I'm Jeff Morrow. Boy, it's been quite a interesting evening along the eastern seaboard. We've run the gambit here all the way from some wet snow in the Ohio Valley, moving into the northeast eventually, to some severe weather as well. Let's first of all take you to Atlanta, Georgia, and show you some of the dark, menacing clouds across this area. This as a squall line moved through right at evening rush hour. Gusty winds knocked down a lot of trees, a lot of power lines came down, some brief heavy downpours, but really it was the wind that was the big problem here, causing all the power outages, particularly on the north side of Atlanta. Now, night falls and we go to blackness, and now we go to Tennessee, where again that same squall line moved through only a little bit earlier in the day. And what we were looking at here, folks, is just some heavy downpours, along with some gusty winds. There were some tree limbs down, and even a possible tornado reported a little bit earlier in the day in the west central parts of Tennessee. You can see the flooding that was caused by this particular system. All right, let's go ahead and take a look, first of all, at your current weather map and see what we're talking about here in the east. Well, what we have, folks, is a very powerful cold front, and ahead of that is where the heavy thunderstorms have broken out, anywhere from about the Norfolk area in Virginia, right on down into central North Carolina, and then right on down into parts of South Carolina, moving very swiftly toward the Columbia vicinity as well. Here's a close-up look at that entire region, and I'll show you, let me just shift gears here a little bit. I'll show you where the severe weather watches are out currently, and that is in the eastern areas of North Carolina. The severe thunderstorm watch that had been out for around the Norfolk area evidently has either expired or been canceled. But anywhere from the North Carolina-Virginia border down through Nags Head, almost all the way down to Cape Hatteras, and including the Albemarle and Pamlico Sounds, under a severe thunderstorm watch. And you can see why. Look at this big line of storms. It blasted through the Norfolk area and has now moved offshore, as had some of the heavier rain that was around Salisbury and Ocean City. That's now pretty rapidly moving away. But it's this line which tails all the way back down here through North Carolina and into South Carolina that, again, some of these storms could have some gusty winds in excess of about 50, 60, or even 70 miles an hour. Still some heavier rain right near Ocean City down toward about the Chincoteague area, so the ponies are getting wet there. Looks like the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, you've dried out as the storms rapidly moved through Norfolk and Virginia Beach, now offshore. But south of Sandbridge, all the way down into the Currituck Sound vicinity, right across Albemarle Sound, moving right over toward the Alligator River Bridge. Watch out, big, heavy, gusty thunderstorms with those winds gusts probably in excess of 60 or 70 miles an hour. It's going to be moving right on over to Kitty Hawk and Nags Head and Oregon Inlet. Wouldn't want to be driving across the Bono Bridge at this time when those storms come through in the next hour or two. A little bit farther on toward the west, what we're talking about here is the snow. The snow still coming down, a wet snow around Cleveland, could be about 2 to 3 inches of accumulation overnight. Erie, it's about ready to change over in Pennsylvania, and there could be a couple of slushy inches accumulate there, and eventually it'll change over to snow as this low continues to go east and the cold air comes in behind it around Buffalo, and there could be as much as about 3 to 6 inches of snow there. And then the wet snow will probably translate right on up here into extreme northern areas of New England. That's where it looks like we might have the most significant accumulation. Here's the back edge of our precipitation from, well, near Columbus in Ohio on up toward the Cleveland area. The heavier snow moving through Cleveland, then it'll be ending from west to east as we head through the overnight hours. Shouldn't be a lot of major travel problems. Now with a look at the rest of the nation's weather, we go over to Dave.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff. I need a little help here. If you'll advance to a satellite picture, that'd be helpful. Big picture of the United States. Thank you so much. This is the storm that Jeff just showed you. And by the way, this moisture is heading into far northern New York and northern New England, where a snowstorm is on tap for later on tonight and tomorrow. And that snow is not just going to be coming down. It is going to be drifting this way and that way. High wind watches are in effect from Pennsylvania all the way up to the Canadian border. Even if you don't see much snow, and you won't in Boston or New York City or Philadelphia, there's going to be a lot of wind around. So anything that can be blown around outside of the backyard, take it in tonight. Now's the time, because this area of low pressure is strengthening. The pressure gradient will tighten up, and the winds are going to be very, very strong. Virginia Beach up to Watch Hill, Rhode Island. That includes all of Long Island, Soundside, and Oceanside. The Jersey coast down into Delaware Bay and Chesapeake Bays. We've got a storm watch in effect. There's your area of low pressure. High pressure here. Cold enough for snow up here in the Adirondacks, the whites, the greens, the presidential range 1 to 2 feet. Close to the coast, there'll be a mixed bag for you in Portland, turning on over to snow during the afternoon. Low pressure, secondary low, will develop offshore. You guys in New England know all about that. And we could probably put a little L right in here. We got a clipper, a weak clipper. Very little precipitation, but here in the west, another storm, 1 of 2 to come on shore over the next several days. There's your Arctic air, and just cold enough for snow here in upstate New York and northern New England. Here's our storm in the west. Clouds continue to build. It was a beautiful day in Palm Springs. Cooler is the forecast for you in Los Angeles after an absolutely fantastic day. Phoenix looking good, but you'll cool down the next couple of days. And some of this rain and snow will head east into the plains. Getting a chance to dry out tonight. That will change beginning Friday night and Saturday. Let's get that forecast starting off on Thursday.
All right, let's go ahead and get to it here, Dave. First of all, the Thursday morning map. Dave was talking about this secondary low starting to develop off the northeast coast. Does not look like a big rain producer for places like New York, even Boston or Providence or Philadelphia, but we will have some gusty winds here, particularly during the course of the afternoon as the storm winds up, moves over through the Gulf of Maine and heads out over Nova Scotia. Looks like the northern fringe will have the heaviest wet snow from where it's falling now in Ohio up through upstate New York and maybe far northern New England. That's where some of the heavy wet snow will be coming down. So some of the ski resorts will get some fresh, I don't know if we want to call it powder at this point, but there'll be some fresh snow up there. And gusty winds even down through the Carolinas, so much cooler weather than what you've seen across the southeast recently, but it'll still be a pretty pleasant day, although breezy. And our system in the northwest moves onshore with some rain, and it looks like some mountain snows here. Most of that rain pretty much on the light side, maybe a ½ inch around Seattle or Portland. Here's that heavy rain with our band of thunderstorms moving through the mid-Atlantic, but that's pretty much gone by later tonight. And there's the snow, some of it heavy, upwards of 6 to 12 inches in far northern Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, and lesser snows as we head into the Cascades where there are winter weather advisories out. There are your overnight lows. We still have some cold Arctic air in place here across the Dakotas, warming up near Fargo. And the international falls only into the single numbers, but still feels and looks like springtime over much of the south. The question here is, will it continue? Here's Dave.
I'll tell you what, Jeff, if some of this cold air headed south, that'd be it for the buds on the dogwood trees and those Bradford pears that are really beginning to open up across the deep south. But it's not going to happen. If anything, it's going to warm up by the weekend. As that stormy weather moves into the plains, warm air will precede it up into St. Louis and Chicago, up near 50 degrees on Sunday. 40s for you in Philadelphia. Eventually, we will warm up in Philly. Cold front gets into South Florida, but with such little effect, the sunshine is really going to do its thing here on Sunday and Monday with highs back in the 80s. Some leftover lake effect snows in the northeast, then a clipper, and then bang, the big storm in the middle of the country. Tornado Alley is going to be living up to its name.
I'm Sharon Resulton.
And I'm Arch Kennedy. Your Friday forecast is coming up. Our first stop, though, is the tropics, and we have our tropical depression.
Head for the East Coast early next week. Jeff?
That's right. And it looks like, though, we'll get some snow in northern New England, so the skiers might actually be happy.
We'll check it next.
Okay, stay tuned.
Must have shrunk in the closet.
Fat-free Quaker caramel corn cakes, 50 calories, zero excuse.
How Charlie the Barber eats a Reese's peanut butter cup. First, I take a little off the top. Then, I take a little more. There's no wrong way to eat a Reese's.
Mother, we're going shopping for wallpaper.
They'll be gone for hours.
No one makes finding the wallpaper you want faster and easier than your Sherwin-Williams store.
Okay, girls, jacks are better, trips to win, deuces wild.
Sherwin-Williams exclusive service can access thousands of patterns, finding you what you want in no time.
I am hot.
Mother?
Look for the Easy Does It logo and save 10% on all fabric-backed vinyl kitchen and bath books. Your Sherwin-Williams store, where to get it.
Well, come on.
Oh, do you think it's possible after all these years?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Albert, it's changing color.
I knew it.
We've got hard water.
If your soap won't lather well and your skin feels dry, you might have hard water. And then you need Zest. Soap leaves a drying film behind. But even in hard water, Zest rinses clean away for cleaner, smoother skin.
You're not fully clean and smooth unless you're Zest fully clean.
And for an incredible feeling of clean, try Zest Body Wash.
Winter, numbing cold, crippling ice storms, devastating floods, paralyzing blizzards. This winter, know what may lie ahead. Watch the Weather Channel. Over 60 meteorologists continuously monitor and track winter's volatile weather using the latest forecasting technology to give you advance warning. And when winter does its worst, we're at our best, bringing you comprehensive storm coverage and live on-scene reports. The Weather Channel. Depend on us to keep you ahead of the storm.
Snow moving into the northeast. Stowe, Vermont to get some. Didn't get any the last 24 hours. And the base is getting a little thin in spots. But there'll be some snow where that came from, where it's coming from tonight. Holiday Valley, New York, nothing happening. Snow showers on tap for tomorrow night. So things are looking up here in the northeast where conditions are variable at best. Here in the west, well, Breckenridge, Colorado is reporting 4 new inches of snow, 74 to 90 inch base. Powder, Squaw Valley groomed. Haven't seen much snow in the Sierra Nevada mountains, but we could, especially in the northern Sierra. That'd be toward the weekend.
If your ears bother you when you fly, you should do what I do. Invest in airplanes. These unique earplugs relieve ear discomfort, clogging, and popping. Earplanes by Travel Smart. Now your ears can take off and land smoothly, too.
AMC remembers them. They were so in love it hurt just to look at them. And we bring them so close you'll swear you were being kissed for the very first time. American movie classics. As close as you can get.
This weekend, Gregory Peck and Ingrid Bergman star in Spellbound.
Hi, Bob Vila here with an exciting new hand tool from Sears. If you're impressed with our Craftsman RoboGrip pliers, wait till you see this. Hey, Jim, how you doing with that table?
Oh, these hex nuts are driving me crazy. My adjustable wrench keeps rounding off the corners, and I don't have box end wrenches for all the different sizes.
Here, try the Craftsman Pocket Socket adjustable box end wrench. With a one-hand adjustment, you can lock onto nuts and bolts of almost any size, metric or standard, from 5/16 to 3/4 of an inch, or 8 to 18 millimeters. The closed box end clamps tight, and heat-treated steel construction makes it durable. And because it's a Craftsman hand tool, made in America, it's guaranteed forever.
For rush delivery of your Craftsman Pocket Socket, get your Sears charge or other credit card ready and call 1-800-219-5577. That's 1-800-219-5577. Or send your check or money order for only $19.99 plus shipping and handling to the address on your screen. Call 1-800-219-5577 right now.
It's raining in Boston, raining in Philadelphia, raining all the way down to South Atlanta. At the present time, it's an East Coast storm, or it's becoming an East Coast storm. The flood watches that have been in effect have just been dropped for most of these states in the Appalachian Mountains as the heavy rain moves toward the east. Heavy rain and thunderstorms, too. Boy, what a light show out to the west of Norfolk, Virginia. Just a couple of hours ago, now the thunder showers are in town, and some of these storms produced hail enough to send the plows out in North Carolina today. Can you imagine that? In Banner Elk, North Carolina, they were shoveling hail off the highways. As the cold front heads east, watch it tonight in Charleston, Myrtle Beach, and New Bern, North Carolina, though I think we've just about seen the worst there. The snow developing in upstate New York and northern New England, and look at the wind. That color indicates 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Then here comes the next storm.
Let me tell you about fish sticks. They're crunchy, and it tastes really good. You can pick them up. You don't have to chop it up like this, all to pieces. Then you dip it in. V-A-N decamps. I usually eat 4 or 5.
Vandicamps, the fish kids like to eat.
You should get your mom to get some.
Idiots! You have failed me.
Wasn't our fault. We had a Subaru Outback.
Outback?
Got better gas mileage than our Cherokee.
Held a turn tighter than our Blazer.
Brake better than our Explorer.
Silence, fools. Just tell me what you need to catch him.
Our own Outback would be nice.
With a CD player and leather.
Subaru Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
Visit your nearest Subaru dealer today to experience the beauty of all-wheel drive.
Good morning from the Weather Channel.
Get a wake-up call plus your local forecast. Call 1-900-WEATHER and choose option 6, 95 cents a minute.
10 cents may not look like much to you, but sign up for Sprint Cents Long Distance now, and you'll be amazed at what this little dime can do.
Every time I get another dime, I think about calling my agent for just 10 cents a minute. So what if he puts me on hold?
Barb, your agent's on the phone.
Coming. Yes.
Funny, ever since I got Sprint's dime a minute rate, I can call anywhere in the country and know exactly what I'm paying every month. Nothing surprises me. Hi,
Suddenly, it all makes sense. I work all day, so at 10 cents a minute nights and weekends, I can give myself the green light to talk.
Call for Sprint Cents now, and you'll pay just 10 cents a minute at the times you call most.
Of course, I could pay more at those times, but that wouldn't make sense.
To me, the biggest bonus is I get 10% cash back.
That's cool. With Sprint Cents, it all makes sense. See for yourself. Call now, 1-800-913-9725.
This is your local forecast, and stay tuned. The national outlook is just ahead in our 5-day planner. The Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather.
Well, I'm pleased to report that the rain is over in Cleveland. What a nasty day. Temperatures started off around 40. Now the rain is ended, but it's ended because it's snowing now. 33 degrees in Cleveland. Snow flurries tonight, some of them coming down pretty hard. And there's going to be a little slush on the window, frozen slush in the morning, the windshield. We'll have to do a little scraping. Cold air coming down across the Great Lakes. Lake effect snows. That term comes back into our verbiage tomorrow. Low pressure deepening, strengthening out here near Portland, Maine. And the snow's going to be piling up in the mountains. Not in the mountains of Cleveland, but in the mountains of upstate New York. And eventually, the snow will begin to head southward toward Albany, Glens Falls, Saratoga Springs, Binghamton, some snow showers, Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and Tunkhannock, Pennsylvania, snow showers. Heaviest snow up there in the mountains, northern Appalachians, really coming down hard. Here in Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, it might feel as if it might snow, but it won't. There'll be a few breaks in the clouds, but the wind is going to be piercing right through you. Bundle up for this one. It's been a while since it's been this cold and windy. Been warm and windy, but it hasn't been this cold and windy. Even windy into Atlanta. You had windy and warm this afternoon up near 80. Then the thunder showers blew through. A cold front to follow shortly. It's going to be cold tomorrow. It'll feel cold with a high temperature near average. But it's been a long time since it's been that cool in the Southland. But there's a warm front on the map. Warmer air will be returning to the southern plains, namely Lubbock, Texas. Trying to think of the name of a little town here near Wichita Falls. Burke-Burnett, yes. Burke-Burnett, Texas. I knew it had come to me. Altus, Oklahoma, and Dodge City, Kansas. Windy and warm. And that is the break between this cool down with the snow flurries and this next series of storms blowing across the northern Rockies and causing the rain tonight in Seattle and Portland. But that rain is nothing. It doesn't hold a candle to the heavy rain that's fallen tonight in southern Virginia, parts of the Delmarva Peninsula, southward through the Carolinas into middle Georgia, and even into the New Orleans metropolitan area. There have been a few thunder showers to pop up tonight. And there's your big snowstorm. There it is. 1 to 2 feet locally, with higher drifts due to all that wind. So when you're looking at high temperatures in the 20s and 30s on Thursday, factor in the wind and we'll take the feeling of the air to the bare, below zero. Cold front heads for Jacksonville. We had another record high today, 86 degrees, I believe. You'll be knocked down below 70 on Thursday and Friday before the warm-up comes back. Speaking of warm, how about Phoenix this weekend? Oh, fantastic. Even Flagstaff, Arizona, with a high temperature up near 60 Saturday and Sunday. We'll take it. We will take it. No super cold air anywhere across the country. It's going to be warming up in the Dakotas. We'll melt a little snow there in Fargo and in the Twin Cities here, too, in the 40s. All right, we get rid of one storm with some lake effect snow remaining on Friday. That's history. Then along a stalled out frontal boundary here, we will have some, this will be a warm front, a developing warm front, and then your cold front down here. Some very active weather in the Central Plains. Saturday and Sunday, a washout from Tulsa, Oklahoma to New Orleans, all the way up to Chicago and Indianapolis. Ooh, hate to see more rain to exacerbate the flood problems, but it's going to happen. That's the way it looks. And more rain headed for the Northeast. But rain is not your problem tomorrow. We'll discuss those details next.
I have looked into the eyes of temptation, and his name is Tony.
Brave adults confront their uncontrollable desire for Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
I'm just looking for someone who understands my needs. Love, acceptance, frosting.
One bite of that sweet crunch will prove that nothing can't be overcome with a spoon.
My hands shake. I start to sweat. What do they seal those bags with anyway?
Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great!
Today in pediatricians' offices, parents are hearing about a new fever medicine, children's Advil. As safe on a child's stomach as children's Tylenol. Yet children's Advil can control fevers faster, almost 45 minutes faster, and lasts almost twice as long. In fact, in a major study to treat sick children, doctors prefer children's Advil 2-to-1 over children's Tylenol. It's all about helping our children feel better sooner. New children's Advil, just a better fever medicine.
Stay ahead of winter with one complete forecast. The Winter Weather Update at 50 past the hour only on the Weather Channel.
A low pressure center on the way. There it is, centered over Ohio now to the north of this front. A cool rain into New York City, now into Boston. And look at the snow here. Portland back to Laconia and then westward into Montpelier and the Adirondacks around Saranac Lake, Lake Champlain, a mixed bag of precipitation. Then we switch over to rain here in Buffalo and then back to snow in Erie and Cleveland. Well, this snow changing from rain to snow is going to spread toward the Northeast. Not in Northeast Philly, not in Northeast Boston, but in the Northeast, right in here, some very heavy snow. Then rain will change to snow as the storm comes to an end tomorrow night and Friday morning. Then clearing, windy and colder. But windy is the big story tomorrow. New York City, colder is the story after the rain ends. Same for Philly.
This country was built with hard work, imagination, and good tools. The same is true today, and Harbor Freight offers the tools to keep this country running strong. You can order quality name brand tools at the lowest prices from the convenience of your home, office, or workshop. Power and hand tools, automotive and shop equipment, air tools and compressors, metalworking and woodworking, all from our free Harbor Freight Tools catalog. Skill heavy-duty tools, tough tools for tough jobs, Bosch power tools, engineered for performance. The brass and stainless steel construction of Victor's Firepower welding kit provides years of trouble-free service. Built-in check valves offer added safety. DeVilbiss Air Power Company, America's leading manufacturer of quality air compressors for home, contractor, and commercial applications. Call 1-800-593-8001 today for your free Harbor Freight catalog. Make some history of your own. Harbor Freight Tools, where good tools and good value are never out of date.
Ahead on Weatherscope, will flooding continue in the Midwest? Your complete update, plus a look ahead coming up on Weatherscope after your local forecast.
This is your local forecast. Weather information you can plan on, only on the Weather Channel. This is WeatherScope.
Hail so deep, they had to send the snowplows out in Banner Up, North Carolina. Is that right?
That's right.
Unbelievable. Good evening, I'm Dave Schwartz.
And I'm Jeff Morrow. Yeah, there were also some wind gusts that were tearing trees right up out of the ground, blowing the branches and the power lines down. Big line of thunderstorms. We'll take a look at where that line is now in just a moment. First, let's see what it looked like when it went through Atlanta. Look at those dark, ominous clouds, and wouldn't you know it, it came through right at rush hour during the evening. Gusty winds blew down a lot of trees and knocked down a lot of power lines, particularly on the north side of Atlanta, north of the perimeter. And you can see there were some heavy downpours there as well, but that was not the story. The wind was the main story with that particular line. Then we head on up into Tennessee, talking about Cheatham County. And again, that same line moved through Tennessee a little bit earlier in the day. About 2 inches of rain fell around the Nashville area. You can see the results, some localized flooding, and there were also some gusty winds in this neck of the woods as well. All right, let's go to the current weather map and show us our storm system here in the east. Low pressure, the center of our low, is in central Ohio. There's some snow flying, which we'll talk more about in just a moment. Northern and northwest Ohio, parts of eastern Michigan, and eventually rain, which is falling in Erie and Buffalo and parts of upstate New York, will be changing over to this wet snow as this low pulls east. But right now we want to hone in on the thunderstorms farther south. I'll tell you what, let's go first of all to the weather watches. Just one severe thunderstorm watch out now anywhere along the outer banks of North Carolina, including Albemarle and Pamlico Sound, from Buxton all the way up to the Currituck Sound. We're talking, again, the threat or the potential here for some very nasty weather. And here's our line of thunderstorms rapidly roaring through the Norfolk area. You can see how it's pretty much cleared the Delmarva Peninsula. Didn't hang around very much, but as these storms went by, again, wind gusts to 40, 50, 60 miles per hour were common. And look at this band moving right down the Outer Banks, moving right over Roanoke Island, right into the Kitty Hawk and Nags Head areas at the present time, and it's going to move right on down through the Outer Banks. Maybe some of the cooler waters here could put a damper on some of these storms, but it looks like overall we're going to have some gusty winds to deal with there on the Outer Banks overnight. And then right on back here into parts of South Carolina, the line did blow through Columbia, but that has pretty much died down a bit. Here's that big line moving right down through Kitty Hawk and Nags Head now. The rest of these big thunderstorms off of Delaware, Virginia and Maryland and New Jersey as well, and moving out into the Atlantic. But the tail end of that line comes right through the Alligator River and right on down to the Pamlico River and about to cross over Pamlico Sound. Then on the very southern extent of this whole area of rain, we have a band of thunderstorms down toward the Mobile vicinity, a very thin band. But again, these thunderstorms can produce some pretty gusty winds as well. Maybe not quite as strong as the ones in the Carolinas, but still heavy downpours and brief gusty winds or even some small hail are possible as that line pulls on by. All right, let's go back to the maps and talk about the Northeast. Dave's going to talk about our rain here in a moment. I want to mention the snow flying out around Cleveland and Toledo and Findlay and on up to Detroit, most of it light. But there could be a couple of slushy inches accumulating here. Should not be any major travel problems as you head off to work during your morning rush or commute there on Thursday morning in Cleveland or Detroit. But it looks like as we head up through Buffalo, it might be a little bit heavier. 3 to 6 inches could accumulate here. And then Dave's going to talk about the potential for some heavier wet snow here across the northern parts of New England. Right now, let's throw it over to Dave.
All right, I'll take it. Thank you so much, Jeff. There is that storm. The big picture, as you can see, that is the storm in the country right now. These clouds over here in the northern and central Rockies, more bark than bite to them, but these clouds have a lot of bite, as we've just heard. The veil of high, thin clouds now up into northern Maine, and up here we're going to see a lot of snow, a lot of snow. The upper level low may be a little more definable now, spinning over Lake Erie. As that moves across western New York State, that'll change rain over to snow. The temperature up in the clouds is going to get colder. Plus, we're going to wrap some cold air in here at lower levels, too. So we'll change rain over to snow across most of New York State. Fortunately, this is not a coastal storm, so in New York City, it'll just be rain, wind, big wind event, winds gusting 50 to 60 miles an hour all across this area, 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts. So you can imagine, once it snows, we're really in trouble. Upstate New York, far upstate New York, Albany, rain to snow tomorrow night, then tapering off, but very windy, and more snow than that further north on the thruway. There's your area of low pressure, the cold front down through New Orleans, approaching Atlanta, but The heaviest rain is over in Atlanta right now. Then we head west, find a little Arctic air, 22 below this morning in Fargo, North Dakota. That was good enough for a record, and it is snowing there tonight. Light snow. Here's our next storm. The clouds indicating generally where the cold front is here. We've had about a quarter of an inch of rain in Seattle and Portland. The light rain continues, as you can see here on radar. But this is the star of the show right now. This will blow offshore. Then some storm energy will move into the west. Some jet stream energy form a big storm here. It's going to hang around for a while. Here's the forecast. First, the forecast for the wind. That's your forecast here in the Northeast. Right, Jeff?
That's exactly right, Dave. Let's go ahead and take a look at our good evening forecast, and we'll start it off with the map for Thursday morning. All that severe weather, all those thunderstorms we've been talking about tonight, reporting from the update desk, tree limbs down, whole trees down, power lines down, that's all gone. That's all offshore, except for maybe the tail end as this front moves down through Florida during the day Thursday. There might be a couple of storms develop along that front, but the rest of it zips out to sea rather quickly. And the low that's in Ohio and Pennsylvania now quickly moves over or redevelops off the northeast coast. The result, a little bit of rain in places like New York and Providence and Boston, and then really the big story will be gusty northwesterly winds, particularly as we head on up into New England and this storm starts to really develop here. What also will happen is some of the wet snow flying in the Great Lakes, northern Ohio and Michigan now will translate right up through Buffalo, Syracuse, the northern Adirondacks, Messina, New York, Burlington, Montpelier, and right on up through the Green and White Mountains and up into the Allagash of Maine. Looks a little snowy. In fact, there could be upwards of 6 to 12 inches of snow, particularly the higher elevations here in northern New England, and blowing around a bit too with the gusty winds behind that storm. Cooler weather invades the south, cooler than what you've seen in recent days, not terribly cold. And again, more wet weather for the Pacific Northwest as yet another system starts to move onshore. Rain for Seattle, so your view from the Space Needle may be a bit obscured. If you're traveling down to Tacoma or up to Bellingham, the highways may be a little bit on the wet side. There's that snow, most of it wet in northern New England. It looks like most of the changeover of snow here in Cleveland or Erie should be in the 1 to 3 inch slushy snow range. Still rather mild in Florida, and we'll have another really warm day there, so the spring breakers have something to look forward to. But the coldest air in the country is to the north. The question is, will the cold air win out, or will springtime still hold on? Here's Dave.
I got a question for you, Jeff. Is it spring break this weekend?
Depends on what school you go to.
It depends on what school you go to. All right. Well, I guess it's spring break for me, and I'm not even in school anymore. But where I live, temperatures are going to be in the 60s all across the Sun Belt states for high temperatures, and even warmer than that on Saturday. So this cold frontal passage is going to be modified very quickly. Windy in Atlanta, for example, on Thursday, then sunshine, light winds, very nice on Friday and Saturday. In South Florida, we get a cold front with very little action. Temperatures will be running in the 80s, so yeah, if you're in one of those schools that has spring break this weekend and you're heading to South Florida, perfection, perfection. The cold front inactive, look at that. Very little in the way of shower activity. Very little in the way of shower activity, and very few maps to show here, too. Meanwhile, we get warmer in the upper Midwest as the storm system from the Pacific moves east. Jeff, what school do you go to?
School Hard Knocks here right now.
I think you're right. Thanks for joining us here on the Weather Channel. Back in a second.
Honey, pinch me.
Return to your senses in Florida.
Return to your senses in Florida. Call 1-800-SKYSAVER for Florida vacations and prices.
This is your local forecast, weather information you can plan on, because we show it on the 8s of every hour. Local on the 8s on the Weather Channel.
To prevent my heartburn, I'll do almost anything. But if I take Pepsid AC, they say I should take it an hour before I eat. Why? The new Tagamet HB200's label says it prevents heartburn in half that time. And Tagamet has more acid blockers than Pepsid AC, so it blocks stomach acid faster. That doesn't mean it's stronger, just faster. And it lasts for hours.
New Tagamet HB200. More acid blockers help block acid faster.
Here we go overseas, my friend, to Europe on Friday. Of course, this is tomorrow. It's Thursday, early in the day. We're finding our storm track further off to the north, but there is this little cut-off low in northern Algeria, and perhaps Tunisia could throw some showers into Sardinia and Sicilia. Huh? But the rest of us, high pressure, southwest wind out ahead of this storm, nice and warm, beautiful, sending the 50s into Gdansk. Athens will be mostly sunny, 65. Brussels with some clouds, London with some clouds. Madrid, Frankfurt, can't complain. Even Rome with the clouds, temperatures on the mild side. There's your 60-degree reading in Paris, France. Stockholm, upper 40s. And in Vienna, partly sunny skies. But I'll tell you, none of those numbers can compare with the kind of weather that allows you to do this. Huh? It was in the 80s again in Florida, but changes are on the way. I'll have all those chilly details next.
Good. Okay, what color is the grass? Green. Good. What color is my sweater? Blue. What color are my teeth?
Beige. Off-white. Stucco. Mother of pearl.
No matter how great your smile is, don't you wish it could be whiter? Now it can. Introducing new Colgate Whitening with baking soda and peroxide. It has a special ingredient for healthy teeth that are whiter.
Let's try this again.
For whiter teeth, new Colgate Whitening toothpaste.
A lot of folks need peace of mind these days, and that's just what they get with Napa Auto Care's Peace of Mind warranty. Repairs are guaranteed on both parts and labor for 6 months or 6,000 miles anywhere they travel. And when they use the Napa card, their guarantee doubles to 12 months or 12,000 miles. How do I know our customers find peace of mind here? Because I own this shop, and their peace of mind is guaranteed.
We keep America running. We keep America running. Napa Auto Care Centers. Napa, we keep America running.
17 minutes before the hour, I tell you, I do the Florida forecast, which I have personally renamed the Florence forecast because my mother-in-law, by the same name, lives in the state of Florida. And boy, is she happy. I haven't heard one complaining word from her most of this winter. You know, if the weather gets bad, people know you work at the Weather Channel. And what's going on with the weather? Why is it so cold? Why is it so rainy and snowy? I say, hey, idiot. We have nothing to do with it. We just talk about it. Well, fortunately, here in Florida, I've had very few kvetches, very few complaints by mother-in-laws or anybody else. But a cold front is heading east. We're knocking down the ridge that has kept us so warm. Now, you'll feel the cooler air here in the Panhandle and northern Florida tomorrow. Cooler. Today was 86 in Jacksonville, so 15 degrees cooler. But in Fort Lauderdale, Florence is going to be happy for yet one more day. But throw on the sunscreen, will you? Up north, it's wintry. We'll have a look next.
Allergies are a fact of life, and when dirt and dust get stirred up, indoor air quality suffers, and so will you. Bissell introduces the new MicroLock Upright Vacuum. Finally, an affordable microfiltration vacuum. Most vacuums release dust into the air, but the MicroLock 7-stage microfiltration system traps 99.3% of the allergy-causing irritants removed from your carpet, helping to improve the air quality in your home. The Bissell MicroLock also features 12 amps of suction power and dual-edge cleaning, plus premium features like onboard attachments, 5 surface height settings,
and an extra long stretch hose. Order your micro lock now for just $129.95, and you'll also receive 10 EnviroFresh antibacterial bags, a $30 value free. The new Bissell Micro Lock Vacuum. A cleaner, healthier home is only a phone call away. Bissell. Life's messy. Clean it up.
Dear, I want to talk to you about our retirement.
Oh, I have so many plans.
We can't.
We can't what?
Retire. We can't retire. You might even think about taking a second job.
Kidding.
Remember how we used to talk about putting some money aside?
Yes.
Well, we never did.
How did that happen?
Who knows? Listen, you like to get outside, don't you? Cut the grass. Lots of yards in this neighborhood. I see income potential here.
Don't let this happen to you. Plan with Alliance today. You, your financial advisor, and Alliance Capital, one of the largest investment managers in the world.
Get detailed ski conditions for over 200 resorts on the Weather Channel website, www.weather.com. No place on Earth has better weather.
Can your radio do this? Only one radio can give you stereo sound this big, yet is small enough to fit almost anywhere. The extraordinary new Wave radio from Bose. Press the remote control and hear sound from a radio like you've never heard before. Big, rich sound that fills the room. You hear music the way it was meant to be heard. Clear, full, incredibly lifelike. You've got to hear the Wave radio to believe it. And now you can, in your own home. Satisfaction guaranteed. Call us toll-free to learn how, and we'll deliver the Wave radio to your door. Experience big stereo sound from a radio. Call today for more information. It will make a difference in the way you listen to music. A big difference.
This is your local forecast, weather information you can plan on, because we show it on the 8s of every hour. Local on the 8s on the Weather Channel. Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather. Forecasts from the Weather Channel are also available from the following.
It is good to see you, my friend, even though it is cooler tonight in Dallas, 48 degrees, and in Houston, 58 degrees. A cold front just kind of slid on southward through Houston. We had those early morning showers. Dry, though, dry as a bone, and chilly here in Dallas, but you keep going north and you lose temperatures. You lose degrees by about 6 a pop. Ooh, 9 in the Twin Cities. We got a snowpack up here. Plus we just have more Arctic air that's heading southward to some degree. 9 in Bismarck. Fargo with 22 below this morning. Very chilly. 33, 33, 31. Dry, snow, snow. 51 in Pittsburgh. Is that right? I'll tell you, that cold front is just moments away. Go outside shortly here in Pittsburgh and you can see your breath and some snowflakes coming down. We've already seen that transition in Detroit, Cleveland, Earlier tonight, heavy snow for a while in Toledo and Muncie, Indiana. The back edge of a storm system. We can get a good look at that just by virtue of the U.S. radar composite. We've got the leading edge of thunder showers, the same ones that took the trees down around Rome, Georgia, Cartersville, Georgia, Rome, Georgia, which is northwest of Atlanta by about 60 miles, something like that. 52-mile-an-hour wind gust earlier tonight. Now just some lingering rain, and this will be out of here shortly. I believe it is over in Rome, as a matter of fact. Still some light rain around Atlanta. Then as we head further north, we find the upper level low, which is right in here. Now there's some cold air aloft, and some of that cold air is heading down to the surface here too. That's why rain has changed to snow. Even before the temperature hit freezing, it was cold enough up in the clouds here in Detroit and Cleveland. And now we've got a mixed bag here in New England. It's raining in Boston. It is raining in Hartford. But you work your way inland, it is snowing, and it's going to stay snowing. Here in the west, we're picking up all rain. Still some snow, heavy at times at Stampede Pass in the Washington Cascades, where they checked in with 165 inches on the ground as of 4 o'clock this afternoon. How do you like that? Is that snow or what? Wind chill is going to become a major factor for you out here in Detroit and Buffalo. You think this is cold. This isn't cold. Burlington, Boston, New York City, and Holton, it's going to be a major factor. Wind chills will be down below 0 by this time tomorrow night. This is the main area for inclement wintry weather here tomorrow. Low pressure at the surface cruises across Pennsylvania, and then a secondary low forms out here east of Boston. That's when it really, really strengthens. At that point, the pressure gradient between high pressure to the northwest and low pressure right here will be so steep. High pressure, low pressure, like a mountain. High pressure, low pressure. The steeper that is, the faster the water flows down a mountain, the faster the wind blows in from high pressure to low pressure. And rain will be changing back to snow tomorrow. Albany tonight, rain, changing to snow several inches in some of the hillside towns. So let's watch it there too. Albany, New York, north and west, even into Buffalo too, and Baldwinsville. There's our storm heading toward the northeast. Heavy rains are over in Kentucky for a while, but this stormy weather in the west, and there isn't all that much rain. There is some in Seattle, Portland, and Eugene, amongst other places. This is going to head east. There won't be any surface reflection of a storm, but there will be some snow up there in the mountains. As we say bye-bye to this baby, actually we'll be saying hello to it because it's going to be getting so strong as it hits the Bay of Fundy and then finally out of the picture. There are your wind-blown. You all see all these lines here? That's wind. That is steep pressure gradient between high pressure here and low pressure right there. Very steep. Northwesterly winds sustained at 30 miles an hour, gusting over 50 miles an hour. That's why high wind watches have been posted for you in Pennsylvania, northeast. Very, very cold. High pressure in the middle of the country, light winds, and a warm-up is on tap here in El Paso, Amarillo, Lubbock, and eventually Wichita and Kansas City. Very nice day here in Pueblo and Denver, Colorado, but there will be some high, thin clouds out ahead of some of these rain and snow clouds in the Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies. So, there we go. Yeah, one other thing to mention. The heat wave is over for Jacksonville and Gainesville, Florida, as a cold front slowly sags southward through the Florida Peninsula. That's it, my friend. Well, that's not it, but that's it for now. Coming up next, we'll have a look at morning rush hour weather. I'm Dave Schwartz for Barry Johnson, tonight's director, and Kevin Chambers, our producer. Stay tuned for that travel weather. It's next.
We could really use a vacation.
Where we can live life instead of just watching it.
We could really use a vacation.
That puts everything at our fingertips while taking us to new heights.
Discover the continent of Puerto Rico. Pristine beaches, 500 years of history, and an unforgettable vacation. Only Puerto Rico puts it all within your reach.
American Movie Classics remembers them. Their eyes were eternally locked.
so in love, it hurt just to look at them. And AMC brings them so close, you'll swear you were being kissed for the very first time. AMC, as close as you can get.
This weekend, Gregory Peck and Ingrid Bergman star in Spellbound.
Weatherscope. It's all the weather you want. Every 30 minutes on the hour and half hour on the Weather Channel.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
I am here to tell you that if you don't tune into the Weather Channel tomorrow and get the lowdown on the storm that's going to be changing rain to snow, and it's going to be changing green hillsides or brown hillsides to white, you've got, I don't know what, you've got a problem, because you're going to be caught red-handed with 1 to 2 feet of snow in your hands. You don't know what to do. And that isn't even half the story. The wind is going to be whipping around here so strongly. Well, here in Portland, a southeast wind, and then bang, 180-degree turnaround as low pressure moves on by, and northwest wind bringing that cold air in, changing rain to snow. Thunderstorms over in Norfolk, then the cold front blows through later quietly, and we have a couple of other weak storms here in the northern tier. But the big story is that 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts expected from the mountains of North Carolina northward. More on that storm next.
Presenting the ultimate tire for your sport utility vehicle, the Michelin LTX. Michelin's technological advances in sidewall and tread design give it a smoother, quieter ride than you might ever expect from a 4x4 tire. Yet it's rugged enough, tough enough, Michelin enough to get you through anything. The LTX series from Michelin.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
Ahead on Weatherscope, the Midwest and Southeast get more rain and flooding. What will the weekend bring? The latest coming up on Weatherscope after your local forecast.
This is your local forecast. Weather information you can plan on, only on the Weather Channel. This is Weatherscope.
One storm system is affecting several states tonight, threatening areas with severe weather earlier on. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sharon Resulton.
And I'm Declan Cannon. We also have continued flood worries in the Ohio River Valley and a stormy forecast for New England. But first, A little bit on the severe weather. Dark clouds rolled through Atlanta metro late this afternoon and early this evening. Strong winds blew down trees and power lines across North Georgia. We have several reports of wind damage, but at this time, no reports of injuries. And the heavy rain started early this morning in Cheatham County, Tennessee. Before it ended by mid-afternoon, many roads were underwater and several tree limbs were reported down. As you can see there, the floodwaters rising. Get ready for a cold night in the county, and temperatures are going to drop into the low 30s behind this cold front, the same front that helped bring us all the wet weather over the southeast part of the country. All righty, let's take a look at the satellite view, and you can see the clouds hightailing it out of the southeastern part of the country. And you'll notice there's actually a little bit of a little cluster of high clouds whipping across the south. It's almost like this was the main show taking off, and the left behind here, wait up for more.
Welcome to the Pacific Update here on the Weather Channel. I'm Bob Stokes. An active weather pattern indeed across the Pacific. And really, it's only just begun in terms of heavy rainfall. It's been coming down heavily in the Bay Area, San Francisco, tapering off in Seattle. But it was coming down pretty heavily in Tacoma as we check out the scene, not far from Seattle. Just